It's time to get your quick fix with the remix. I'm Remixus, and I hope y'all are having a fantastic day. This video is coming out later than I'd hoped because I was on a working vacation away from home for a month. Before that, we saw a few smaller updates, but not enough to make a video on. But while I was away, we had some pretty substantial updates. Now, to those of you not entirely sure what Ember is supposed to be, it's the spiritual successor to Firefall. It's a first and third person PvE game with focus on mechs, mining, and crafting, with plenty of, let's say, eye candy to enjoy. You'll start out with a basic frame and start mining to craft better gear, to kill more enemies who want to stop you from mining better resources, to make even better gear, and so the cycle continues. But let's get into the updates. Reapers, rejoice. We have a new build which came with some major visual improvements. We've seen the skybox was changed and the ground had some basic texturing done. This is much more visually appealing, even though I still like the layout we had of New Copa. We also had some lighting changes which make the world look much better. This update finally introduced a feature that I've been hoping for a while now, and it's a persistent personal inventory. It's a very basic feature without any UI elements, but that will be handled later. Finally, with the previous voxel demo, we were able to build tunnels with our plasma cannon, which was only intended to test the feature of the terrain shaping. Now, the terrain behaves properly and will create small craters when you deep strike or when the thumper is mining for resources. I also noticed that the Sihu have blood animations, so nice touch. Now, the build was long overdue, but in the previous dev chat, we also got a long requested item. We finally have a roadmap to get to the Kickstarter. I do want to remind everyone that a roadmap is never set in stone. Delays happen, things don't go according to plan, but this should give you a rough idea of what to expect and about when you should expect it. This is important because the people supporting the game right now are essentially the seed investors, hoping their support will grow into an MMO they want to play. We now have expectations and something to hold developers accountable to their word while mitigating feature creep. For this chart, I don't want to go over everything there is, but a few things I wanted to touch on. When an item says it's game ready, it means it's ready to push into the game, even if it does not have all of its visuals. It's animated and it does its basic job, but it might not be visually ready. You can see that in August we should be seeing the light frame put into the game, and then we're supposed to see the plasma cannon ready by the end of this month, July. Feel free to pause the video to see everything, but to close this chart out, we were promised that the development builds would be coming more regularly, and the devs specified at least once a month. This is a large task, but it's something the entire community has been patiently waiting for. I'm not sure all these goals are within reasonable timelines, but I'm not a dev, so I don't want to insinuate that it's too short of a time span. Moving back to the third most recent Chief chat, we were informed that we would start seeing personal mining mechs. You see the thumper moving behind me, but this is supposed to be more of a group activity. We're going to have a small model here that shows what the personal thumper would look like, but this would allow you to gather smaller amounts of materials to be used in crafting. You might also have a personal mining tool or gun that would allow you to get basic compounds like water, dirt, and wood. And you might be able to craft giant mining stations for rare or large quantities of materials. We also saw what one of our tanks might look like, and we got our first look at the working model of the light frame. Finally, moving back to the fourth most recent Chief chat, this was about 2 months ago, we saw a lot of concepts in work. The best way to describe these is small model built to scale to try to see how everything will fit within the world. You don't want to design your buildings and have them look perfect, only to find out that your building is the size of your player's foot. You also don't want the worlds too big, as that's a lot of wasted time, not engaging in the content. The map is slated to be 64 square kilometers. So to put that in perspective, it's the size of the maps on PlanetSide 2 or Zelda Breath of the Wild. The monster you see on screen is called Crotus, and in this demo he's 150 meters tall. However, he's only going to be 120 meters, which is the size of the large pillar next to him. They then went on to show another way to divide the map into segments, without having loading screens. This is a pretty standard practice, but it just lets us see inside the development process a little bit more. The Kickstarter, when it comes out, will have 3 areas, each half to 1 square kilometer of playable area. This will provide the first hour of gameplay and let new players really get a feel for what the game is intending to do. Closing out, I showed a lot of things that are not in the game yet and talked about concepts that have only basic level art. But with a large update, I wanted to make sure you all knew the current progress and where we're headed. Again, I'm cautiously optimistic and temper my expectations knowing there's a possibility that it will never come out. I'm happy to see progress happening, and I hope we can stick rather closely with the roadmap, but the team needs to hire more developers to make it a reality. A couple other things not directly related to the development, but that I wanted to point it out, were that Twitch now has a category for Ember. Also, this may just be my search results, but my videos are showing at the top of Google when I enter Ember in the search results. Let me know if that's what you're seeing as well. All we need now is a Ember category for YouTube and we'll be set. Anyways, that about wraps it up. If you like what I'm doing, leave me a comment or thumbs up and stay subscribed for more Ember content. And as always, keep it real and keep it on Remix.